search to find love within.
Welcome to Stage, Screen, and In Between with Helen. I'm Helen Proimos, and today I'm at a wonderful event in the Hamptons, and it's a fundraiser for the American Heart Association of Long Island. Stay with us. I'm with Tara Schneider, who is the Executive Director for the American Heart Association on Long Island, and we are at this beautiful event at the Vineyard. How are you, Tara? What a beautiful day we have.
Thank you. I'm doing great. How are you?
Good, good, good. This is a wonderful event. So many people are milling around. We've had days of rain, and the sun came out for a very important cause, right?
We got lucky today with the weather, certainly. We did.
So tell our audience why this day is so important for the American Heart Association on Long Island. You can tell everybody.
So each year we have an event out here in the Hamptons to raise awareness and funds for the American Heart Association to support heart disease and stroke. It's just important to get the word out there. It's for an important cause, and the more people that get to understand our mission, the more lives we can touch. Yeah, so at the American Heart Association, one of our main goals for our mission is to spread the word, to spread the knowledge, to make sure that people know that they're in charge of understanding their own health and raising money for important initiatives for research and educational components in which we're able to spread the word for the American Heart Association.
Now, is part of what you want to do is spread the word about recognizing the signs that you might have a heart condition?
Absolutely. One of the biggest things is signs and symptoms are very different in all types of people. There is not one specific sign or one specific symptom to look out for. There's many, and that's something that we really like to advocate here at the American Heart Association.
Yeah, but they do say that women have sometimes no signs or pain in the jaw. Is that what it is? Could you tell our audience, there may be a difference between men and women, right?
Absolutely. So one of the initiatives that we have at the American Heart Association is our Go Red for Women initiative, which really came about because the symptoms and signs in women are much different than men. So that typical pain in the chest or pain in the arm might be very different. Someone might have a backache or may have jaw pain, and it's really important to follow up with your doctor to understand what's happening in your body.
Do you find that there's an age, like a cutoff, where you should be even more aware?
So everyone should be aware of their health from a young age, going on to an older age. It doesn't discriminate. Any age you can be affected with heart disease.
Mm-hmm. And now, what about the importance of a stress test?
So all of these different tests that your doctor offers are important. It's important to go to your doctor, to go to your normal follow-ups, because they will make sure that you're getting the appropriate testing and that you are all up to date with what you may need.
Yeah. So now you do the fundraising for all of Long Island. Long Island is pretty large for people that don't know,
Yep.
right? So how do you break that down? Is it by county?
No, so we have our market is the Long Island market. So, as far Nassau as hitting Queens and as far Suffolk as, out here in the Hamptons, we have several events throughout the year. So we have a Heart Walk that happens at Jones Beach. We have a Hamptons event here. We have a Heart and Stroke Ball that happens in Nassau County. We have a Cycle Nation event that happens in Melville. We just have so many opportunities for people to get involved in our mission on Long Island.
Yeah. Do you have any way to track the progress that you make with the fundraisers?
Absolutely. So currently right now, as we head into the end of our fiscal year, which actually ends tomorrow, June 30th, really? Long Island has raised $2.1 million this year.
Very good. Good. And so how do you get the word out? Is it through the internet? Is it through television broadcast? How do you do it?
Yeah, so it's a little bit of everything. You know, communication plays a huge role in that. We also have leadership volunteers, our board of directors. We have folks that we call our executive leadership team that really help us spread the word. We use social media. We send out traditional mailings. We send out email reminders. We do a bunch of things to make sure that the word's getting out there.
Okay. And what is your advice to people if they think they may be having a heart attack? What should they do? Is it true that you should take an aspirin or two?
If you think you're having a heart attack, call 911 immediately.
Call 911 and don't be afraid that you're crying wolf, because some people are afraid that they're crying wolf and they don't want to make a call and make a fool of themselves if they're not really having the heart attack, right?
It's the most important thing to call 911. And like I said, if you're not feeling right, advocate for yourself. Go get checked out, talk to your doctor, and find, you know, a health regimen that works for you.
Right. And I was going to ask you, is diet important in taking care of your heart?
Absolutely. Diet is so important. A healthy body means a healthy heart. It's very important to make sure that you are exercising, that you are eating healthy foods. But even with all of that, you can still have, you know, heart disease and issues. So again, listen to your body and make sure that you're going to your normal follow-ups.
Is walking enough of exercise, or does it have to be cardio?
Walking is wonderful. So if you can, you know, we always hear if you can get in if you can get in a certain amount of steps, you know, I think it's 10,000 steps a day, and that could be by walking. That could be by going to the grocery store, doing like your normal activities, anything that really gets your heart pumping. It doesn't have to be cardio.
Okay. And Tara, where can people reach you if they wanted to get involved or help in some way?
Sure. So my direct email is tara.schneider@heart.org to get involved.
From the trees fall through the sound of the breezes that blow when I'm trying to be beautiful.
Right now, I'm with Stacey Gandler, and she's on the executive leadership team for the American Heart Association here at this beautiful vineyard today at the summer celebration. How are you?
Hi, thanks so much for having me. What a wonderful event we're having tonight.
It is wonderful. Tell everybody what the leadership team does.
Oh, wow. Well, the executive leadership team for the American Heart Association here in the Hamptons helps organize this wonderful event where we are fundraising for all the incredible life-saving programs that the American Heart Association does to bring education and awareness into communities all over Long Island and New York State.
Yes. Now, I see that you have a lot of raffles, so is that something that you're in charge of as well?
I wish. We have so many wonderful things here. Part of the fun at the event tonight is we have an incredible auction. Lots of companies have donated different types of services, getaways to help us contribute to the funds that are going to support these incredible programs. Because really, while we're all here having a wonderful time, the importance is that we are providing the education and the resources that people need to have awareness about heart health. You know, heart disease is the #1 killer of women.
Yeah.
So it's very, very important that we fund these programs to make sure that everyone is learning and growing so they can take care of themselves and have the best heart health and wellness that they can.
So now how do you get people to join in with you on this executive leadership team? How are the people chosen? Do they volunteer? Are they elected? How does that happen?
All of this is volunteer work. So the great work that we're seeing tonight was done by many, many committed people who come together and donate their time to support this very, very worthy cause.
Do you think that people volunteer their time because they've had a family member or a friend that's been affected by heart disease?
Oh, absolutely. For me personally, my family has been touched by heart disease, which is what moved me to get involved. But I think many, many people do decide. And, you know, we all have hearts. Everyone knows someone who has.
You gotta have heart.
Everybody knows somebody who has been touched by some range of heart disease. You know, from blood pressure to high cholesterol to other more serious conditions.
Yeah.
So it's a commonality. And I think there are many, many people that are going to benefit from the great programs that the American Heart Association does.
So how can people help? Where should they reach out to?
Absolutely. If people are interested in learning more, they can go to the American Heart Association's website at www.heart.org. And you can find your local chapters based on where you're located. And you can reach out and find more information and local contact information there.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Enjoy the rest of the night. Joining me now is Mark Hurley, who is the Vice President of Communications for the Long Island chapter of the American Heart Association. How you doing, Mark?
I'm good, Helen. How are you?
Good, good. Tell everybody, how can they communicate with you?
So the best way to communicate with us is probably through our social media pages. We have a page for New York State that the Long Island chapter is a part of, and it's at AHA New York. So you can go on. We're posting every day, so you can contact us through there, direct message. You can put a comment on one of our posts, and we'll get back to you.
Is there any question and answer with doctors on that site? Is there any medical advice given?
Sometimes, we based on some of our sponsorships, we do what we call community conversations. Okay. So they are kind of half-hour shows, if you will, where we break it up in segments and we talk to experts about different forms of heart disease. Maybe it's about nutrition. It could be about exercise. It could be about women's heart health. And then we usually do, maybe a CPR demo, or we show a video of some sort from the Heart Association. But those are ways that we do get some medical advice out there.
Yeah. I think knowing CPR would be a very good thing for people to know, everybody, right?
Yeah, exactly. We're actually starting a campaign that started June 1st called a Nation of Lifesavers, where we're trying to make bystanders lifesavers. Okay. So we know that a lot of people are too afraid to get involved when they see someone collapse, only because they don't really know what to do, So if you do know what to do, which we're trying to teach people what to do, we're hoping we're going to save more lives. Because right now, there's about 350,000 cardiac arrests that happen every year, and only 10% survive.
Yeah.
And if someone knew CPR, just giving CPR doubles or triples a person's chance of survival from a cardiac arrest.
Now, what about defibrillators? Because I know they were having them in school, and there was a woman that had lost her son. I think it was on the soccer field, the lacrosse field. And she was really trying to get them in every school. So do you have any idea what's happened with that?
So that's a law in New York State.
Good.
So defibrillators should be in schools. So there's three things people should know, right? It's to call 911, it's to know how to perform CPR, and it's to know where your defibrillator is.
Yeah.
So if there's someone collapses,
Right.
it's kind of like you call 911, you get me the AED and bring it back here,
Yeah.
and then I'm going to do CPR while all that's happening.
Right. I understand that the positioning of a am I pronouncing right? Defibrillator
Yeah.
is important too, because sometimes they would have one on site, but it wasn't near the athletic field, or
Yeah.
it's something slipped through the cracks. So you have to really pay attention to all those details, right, Mark?
So the stat is, and it's staggering. So for every minute that passes without that person being defibrillated or worked on somehow, 10% of survival. You lose 10% of survival. So if I'm lying there for 4 minutes, I've lost 40% chance, right? So if it's 6 minutes, I have 60% chance of dying.
Yeah.
So
now-
getting the defibrillator there quickly is the key to saving lives.
Yeah. Now, what about mouth to mouth with everything going on with COVID and everything? How safe could you feel giving somebody mouth to mouth?
So, that's a great question, because the Heart Association, we've just started over the last couple of years, hands-only CPR. So if you see a person collapse, we think the science proves that there's enough oxygen in the blood, so you don't really need to do mouth to mouth. You can just do compressions.
Unless there would be a relative, like a husband or a wife.
Exactly,
Yeah.
and the stats are there that 70% of the time you're going to be performing the procedure on someone you know or love.
Yeah.
So mouth to mouth shouldn't be an issue, but if it happens out in the public and you don't want to do that, you don't have to anymore. You can just do hands. It's just compressions. You call 911. You still get me the AED, but I'm still just going to do compressions. And I'm going to do those compressions. I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to do a breath. I'm going to keep going until help arrives.
Now, I know you're not a doctor, but should you move the patient? Should you move the person? Or should you put them in a car and get them to a hospital?
So the first rule is to make sure the scene is safe for yourself, because you can't help save anybody if you're getting injured. That's number one. Number two is, if they're in water, or if they're on a like a bleacher, you got to move them off, because if you use that shock, you don't want to shock everybody, right?
Yeah.
So you got to get them off of that.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
And put them on the ground. Make sure they're safe, and make
Yeah.
sure you're safe.
Yeah.
You should never put anybody in a car. Even if you think you're having a heart attack,
Really?
never go in a car, because what if you pass out from the heart attack?
Yeah.
And the person with you doesn't know what to do. So always call 911 and make sure that that's the first thing you do, because you want to be in that ambulance if anything goes wrong.
How hard is it to use a defibrillator? Do you know?
Yeah, it's actually very easy. It's basically the size of like a small laptop computer, and you open it up and you turn it on, and it will walk you through the steps. It talks to you.
Oh, it talks to you. Wow, that's good to know.
So it walks you through.
That's terrific. That's a terrific invention,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so do you want anything else you want to say to everybody?
No, we're at a great event tonight here in Hamptons, and it's for the Heart Association, and we're
Is this the Wolfer Vineyard?
Yes, exactly. The wine stand at Wolford, right?
The wine stand.
And we're happy you came.
Oh, I'm so glad to be here. And, if I can help get the word out, that's what this is all about, communication. And you're the man, Mark.
There it is.
So thank you so much. You want to shout out where people can reach you or find out more, how they can help, how they can get information? Go in one of those chat rooms.
Yeah, so the easiest way is to go to our website, heart.org, and follow us on our social media channels, which is at AHA New York. We promote all heart health. And if we're doing any of those community conversations, either over Zoom or live, we promote it on there too.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. I'm so glad that you told everybody everything that you did.
Oh, thank you.
We need to know.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You see a teen or adult suddenly collapse. It is important to act fast. Helping to save a life is easier than you might think. Just start hands-only CPR. The first step is to ask someone to call 911 and to get an AED, or call 911 yourself and put your phone on speaker mode so the operator can assist you. Then get directly over the victim. Put the heel of one hand in the center of the chest and put your other hand on top of the first. Then push hard and fast in the center of the chest until help arrives. It's important to push, giving 100 to 120 compressions per minute, which is about the same tempo as the song Staying Alive, or the rate of music you're listening to right now. Let's hope you never have to use hands-only CPR. But know that CPR combined with using an AED provides the best chance of saving a life. If possible, use an AED every time you provide CPR. If you see a teen or adult suddenly collapse, it is important to act fast. Helping to save a life is easier than you might think. You have been performing hands-only CPR on an adult when the AED arrives. You have the victim face up on a firm, flat surface and are ready to continue hands-only CPR with an AED. You must remove all clothes that cover the chest, as AED pads must not be placed over any clothing or jewelry. CPR combined with using an AED, automated external defibrillator, provides the best chance of saving a life. If possible, use an AED every time you provide CPR. AEDs are safe, accurate, and easy to use. Once you turn on the AED, follow the prompts. The AED will check to see if the person needs a shock and will prompt you to deliver a shock if needed or resume CPR. AEDs may have 2 sets of pads. Ensure you use adult pads on anyone who has shown signs of puberty and older. Turn the AED on and follow the prompts, which will tell you everything you need to do. Peel away the backing from the pads. Ensure there is nothing between the pad and the person's bare skin.
Plug in pads connector.
Plug the pads connector into the AED if necessary. Follow the prompts and let the AED analyze.
Analyzing heart rhythm. Do not touch the patient.
And make sure that no one is touching the person. The AED will analyze the heart rhythm. If the AED tells you that a shock is not needed, resume hands-only CPR.
Shock advised. Charging. Stay clear of patient.
If the AED advises a shock, deliver a shock. Loudly state "clear" and make sure that no one is touching the person. Push the shock button.
Deliver shock now. Deliver shock now. Shock delivered.
Immediately resume hands-only CPR until help arrives or the AED prompts you to pause. You will likely need to repeat several cycles of compressions and shocks.
Begin CPR. Start with compressions.
Follow the prompts from your AED until help arrives. Try not to interrupt compressions for more than 10 seconds and follow the prompts from the AED. Let's hope you never have to use hands-only CPR. But know that CPR combined with using an AED provides the best chance of saving a life. If possible, use an AED every time you provide CPR.
Anthony Perrone is a volunteer for the American Heart Association, and he's going to tell everybody how it is that he got involved. Hi, Anthony. How are you?
Good, Helen. How are you? Nice to meet you.
Good. Nice to meet you, too.
Yeah.
So tell everybody what it is that you do as a volunteer and how you got involved in that, because you have a reason why, right?
Yes, I do. So previously, the Young Professionals Committee, we've rebranded ourselves since to become the Emerging Leaders with Heart Committee, to be more inclusive of everybody and not differentiate between ages, right, with the word young. And we do a lot of great things in the community.
I'm sure, like me, I'm young at heart,
Exactly.
so I could fit right in that committee, you know.
You're more than welcome, Helen, anytime you want to come down. But we do a lot of great things with the American Heart Association on Long Island, raising funds and running all these events and stuff like that. So it's really been a rewarding experience for me. And the reason I got involved with the American Heart Association was because of my uncle, who passed away about 8-9 years ago from a heart attack. And so that's, really gave me the motivation to get involved with the American Heart, spread the word, because it was a senseless thing that didn't need to happen if he had the right, process in place and went for the checkups that he should have and things like that. And since that happened, it forced my dad to be doing those checkups and getting checked.
So it might have saved your dad.
It did save my dad's life, because a few years later, during one of those routine checkups, they said, "You're not going home. You're going straight to the hospital."
That same thing happened to my husband. They wouldn't let him out.
Yeah.
Right. 100%, like 99% blocked. Right.
Yeah. So he went straight to the hospital. He called me. He's like, "Ann, I'm going to the hospital. I'm having quadruple bypass surgery."
Yeah.
I'm like, "What are you talking? You're joking, right? This has got to be a joke." And it was
How
serious.
was his recovery?
It was, when I tell you, it was one of the scariest things for me, because my dad's my superhero, right? Like, you never seen him hurt or anything like that. And like to see him come out of that. He was back at work within like a week.
Yeah, my husband
Yeah,
too.
I'm like, this is crazy.
My
Take
husband
a little
too.
time
He was
off.
so crazy.
Yeah.
He left the hospital. He's like, "Drive me to work."
Yeah.
I said, "What? No, tomorrow I'll drive you to work. Not the day you're getting out of the
Right,
hospital.
right.
Tomorrow I'll drive you in
Right.
for an hour. You can check on everything, and then back we go." But isn't that wonderful how technology has come a long way,
It's
that
incredible.
your
It really
father could feel that well, right?
Yeah, it's really incredible. And the people, it was at Mount Sinai, took care of him incredibly. And, you know, he's been great ever since.
And now what are you doing for your heart health?
I'm doing an annual physical right now since it runs in my family.
Do you go to the gym?
I do. Work out every week, and going to the doctor every year to make sure that I'm up on my physical, because it's something that runs in my family.
Yes.
And same with my brother as well.
It is something that runs in families,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, so thank God everything's been good with me and I've had no issues yet, but, crossing my fingers.
Good. So how can people reach you or become a part of this on the internet?
Sure, yeah. So I volunteer with the American Heart, and you could reach me at my email address, aperrone@kpmg.com, with any questions about KPMG or with the American Heart Association. If you're looking to get involved, we'll be happy to take anybody.
Oh, that's wonderful. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Helen. I really
Thank
appreciate
you.
it.
Oh, no problem.